Hey everybody, I am back with another video. And I've had time since I made the last video because I'm sitting here doing laundry today. Today's laundry day, so I ain't going nowhere. I had time to sit down and watch the Red Table Talk because I had heard a lot about the Olivia Jade interview. And I also heard a lot about Gammy. And so I said, well, let me sit here and watch it for myself. I don't want to just go off of what I heard. I want to actually see it for myself. All right. So I watched it, and I will say Gammy was definitely a whole mood. She absolutely was a whole mood. But one thing I'm going to say about Jada, we the people are sick of you. If Jada don't do shit else, Jada going to sit there at that table, press her fingertips firmly into it, and coddle somebody. And it's just like, come on. It's gotten to the point now where the reason why I hadn't watched it, because sometimes I'm just kind of over the whole Red Table Talk. It started off strong for me, but then I felt like it became clear that it was a refuge for celebrities and those of that ilk to seek some kind of redemption, right? Because if Jada said it was okay, if Jada forgives you, it's okay, no matter what wrong you did. If Jada says it's okay and Willow says, wow, you know, then everything is all good, right? So I was looking at it like that, which is why I was just like, I don't want to watch this shit. Now, if you don't know who Olivia Jade is, she is the daughter of Lori Loughlin and her husband, Giuliani Mamismo. I'm saying his name wrong, but I think he had clothes in Target, okay? And they basically paid $500,000 to get their girls into USC. They were part of this whole kind of operation, this federal sting operation called Varsity Blues, where they were basically taking down all these different people, were part of this whole thing where the people, these rich and influenced people with a lot of wealth, were actually paying to get their kids into these schools, right? They were pretending like they were athletes, all this other stuff. So I was feeling Gammy when Gammy basically started off. Gammy started off like, listen, I ain't really with the bullshit. I don't even think we should be doing this. Why are we sitting here inviting this girl, you know, here, and this white girl here, you know, to seek redemption, you know? And then, of course, again, I told you how Jada be. Well, I don't want, you know, to do to anybody else what was done to me. And again, I sometimes I just cannot stomach Jada Pinkett Smith. I cannot. But Gammy was a whole mood. And I appreciated that Gammy kept that same energy almost to the end of the whole interview. But for the most part, she kept that same energy. And she kept that same energy with Olivia Jade. So Olivia Jade comes on, and she's basically saying, you know, how sorry and embarrassed she is that her parents, you know, paid all this money and, you know, to get her into USC, and how she didn't really understand it at the time. She just thought it was a regular thing, which, to be fair, I'm sure it was a regular thing in her world, right? But she said even then, she didn't necessarily understand why people were so upset. And then when she was able to look at it from the other side of it, you know, of course, since she lost her deals, because let's be clear, Olivia Jade was a social media influencer. She had a huge following. She was also on YouTube. So she had a huge following on IG, YouTube. She had brand deals. It was kind of idiotic. When I heard about this whole thing, I thought to myself, why on earth did her parents pay $500,000 to get her into the school, her and her sister into the school, when she already had money and she was making money? And then to hear Olivia Jade come out and say, well, I didn't really want to go to school. I just wanted to party, and I just wanted to go to the athletics and the games and things like that. But I don't even care about school. People were even more pissed off. So to see her here at the Red Table, now doing an about face and saying, yeah, it was wrong with what my parents did. And, you know, they were just feeling like they were doing what was best for me because they love me. I get all of that. I truly get it. But at the same time, I was annoyed with Jada. And let me tell you why I was annoyed with Jada. Now, during the interview, I get the whole idea of letting the person that you are interviewing talk. Just let them talk. But at some point, there should be a little bit of pushback. And I feel that if Gammy was not at that table, Olivia Jade may have not been as contrite or apologetic in that moment. I feel like Jada set it up, and she set that space up for whomever comes to sit at that table, for them to feel like they don't necessarily have to be really sorry. Like, they gotta sound sorry, but they don't necessarily have to truly be sorry about it, because they know in the end of the day, they can go down and sit with Jada, and that's bada bing, bada boom. You know, people love them again, right? Because Jada has given them her blessing to go on about your life. You are forgiven. On behalf of everybody, you are now forgiven. And I feel that had Gammy not been sitting there and pushing back on her just a bit, pushing back on her, that this interview would have went differently. Okay. Now, my problem with Olivia Jade is that although I do agree that most of this falls on her parents, right? Most of it falls on her parents. It is not like she was completely unaware of what was happening. And that's what I didn't like. And I didn't like the fact that Jada didn't push back on that. She just didn't. Olivia was pretending, it was set up so that she would come in as an athlete. She was on the rowing team in her high school. They had it set up so that this girl took pictures of her like she was on a rowing team. So, Olivia, you knew that you were taking pictures. You knew that you were posing for pictures for a sport that you weren't even a part of. You probably don't know shit about rowing, but you were taking pictures. So a part of me feels like you can't just completely separate yourself from any kind of culpability in this. Yes, they were the adults, but you participated in it too. And you were at the age where you know right from wrong. So to kind of put it completely on her parents, I didn't like that. Like I said, she was trying to say, yeah, I understand that it was wrong. I understand. But does she really? Does she even like look at it and reflect? Because I didn't hear anything about, well, yeah, I know that I actually wasn't on the rowing team and I pretended to be on the rowing team and I took pictures like I was on the rowing team. You played a part of that. You played into that. Now, I go back to the whole idea of what on earth does she need to go to college for? They didn't even pay $500,000 for tuition. We're talking, they paid $500,000 to just get their girls in the school. That's not even including the tuition. So how idiotic is that? If I have $500,000 to spend on my daughters, what are you going to go to college for? What do you need college for? That's the most idiotic, and that is white privilege in itself. All this money, you have all this money, all this wealth, all this influence, and you still have to pay $500,000 just to get your girls into school. Then they just weren't smart enough to get into that goddamn school. But if you have $500,000, you don't need to go to college. A lot of people go to college to get or to, you know, get a career or to make a nice living. Some of them will never ever see $500,000, especially in this, you know, job market. But the truth of the matter is, that's stupid. All that money wasted, right? All that money wasted for a girl to simply say, I don't really want to go to college. I just want to go to the parties and things like that. She could have gone to the parties without going to college. She was a social media influencer. Olivia Jade had, what, over 1 million followers on Instagram alone. She had a huge YouTube following and YouTube channel. She had several brand deals. Now they're all gone, but I don't feel the least bit sorry for the girl, because at the end of the day, she's still, even if she's cut off, right? And they're gonna feel sorry for her. They're gonna eventually. That's why I wasn't feeling this whole interview with Jada, because for me, I feel like, Jada, you're just coddling another person, and people will start to feel sorry for her and feel like, oh, she really does, you know, she really does feel bad about it, and the things will come back, the jobs will come back, right? We understand that the jobs will come back, so I don't feel sorry for her. But thank goodness for Gammy. Thank goodness for Gammy calling her out, because Jada fails in that regard. Jada fails in that regard all the time. I feel like that's why I just cannot watch it. But I am glad that Gammy did have, and even to kind of to the whole point of Gammy called her out. At the end of the day, they have to make good TV, do they not? They still, you know, I do think that Gammy's feelings were genuine. Please don't misunderstand me on that. I do think her feelings were genuine, but at the end of the day, they still have to make for good TV. So Gammy was going to show up, right? Gammy was going to show up. I'm glad that she had an opposing viewpoint. And that, like I said, for the most part, she kept that way. She didn't soften up until closer to the end. But I am glad that she called it out. And she called out the racial disparities and why people are upset about this. And rightly so. People should feel a certain type of way about all these folks who have all this just crazy wealth. And the fact that you can just throw $500,000 and say, hey, I want my kid to go to this school. And it happens all the time. It's not just Olivia Jade. It's not Felicity Huffman. It's not just that these wealthy folks have been doing this forever. Their kids are not that smart that they can just get into some of these schools. They just have the wealth. But again, I just find it stupid that you would have that kind of wealth. And you have, if I have $500,000 and I have it to get my kids into school, maybe I should just give you some 250 between the two. You know, you get 250, you get 250. Go start a business. Go start something. You already got a social media following. Take that and run with it. They didn't need college. And that's the difference here. They don't need college. College is just kind of like I'm just doing it because, but they don't need it. That's what's crazy about this here. But yeah, I just wanted to come back to you guys, and I wonder if you guys watched this episode on the Red Table Talk, and you know, with Olivia Jade. You know, listen, Lori be out in a little bit, and I'm sure Lori will be able to redeem herself too. You know, Lori was good for a Hallmark movie. You know, at this time, Hallmark Christmas movies would have been popping with Lori Loughlin. If she don't do nothing else, she gonna give you a Hallmark Christmas movie, okay? But Lori gonna be all right. They all gonna be all right. Just like as Gammy said, y'all gonna be okay. Which is why I don't even understand why she's sitting here. And like I said, I appreciated Gammy for pointing that out. But that's all I got to say about that. I don't want to spend too much time. I don't want this to be a long, drawn-out video. But y'all know what to do in the meantime. All right. I'll come back with a different video. I'm just trying to finish washing clothes and washing everything up in the house, y'all. But anyway, do me a favor. If you could, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Like, share the video. And as you guys know, I will see you, of course, on the next video whenever I get around to it, all right? So y'all do me a favor. Have a good Saturday. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care, y'all. Bye.